If just the word decluttering is overwhelming to you because you don't know where to start or what to do with the things you no longer want, then today's video is for you. Let's go. Hello, I am Noreen Eppley, and this is the Crafty Organizer, where I love bringing you ideas for organizing, decluttering, doing DIYs, upcycles, and as you can tell, anything crafty. I have been a professional organizer for about 12 years now, and I've gotten to organize a ton of homes for clients, and I loved every one of them. And the thing that is always overwhelming for them is simply where to start. What do I do with the things that I no longer want? I get overwhelmed when I walk into the room because it's just a mound, and I absolutely understand it. Even though I've done it for a living, I get overwhelmed in my own space. So I want to break this down with some easy steps and tell you how to get started, and more importantly, what to do with some of those items that you might have lying around your house. The first thing I recommend, and I did this with clients, is walk through your entire home and take pictures of all of the spaces that you feel are cluttered. Why? Because oftentimes we become clutter blind, and an area that looks absolutely fine to you looks completely different when you're looking at a photo of it. I can't tell you how many times I've been editing my own videos and I noticed, oh, you can see all my clutter right there. Oh, I forgot to put that away. So taking a picture really allows you to look at it from an equal playing field and then rate the areas, best to worst. And believe it or not, I recommend starting with the easiest one first, because nothing feels better than accomplishing something, and that gives you the motivation to tackle the next area. And by the time you get to the hardest one, you'll be a pro, especially if you're using all of my tips. The second important step is plan on where your things are going to go. Planning on where your things are going to go is one of the biggest hurdles that you have when decluttering. If you have a lot of items that you know have value and you want to sell them, know which place you're going to sell them at. Is it Letgo? Is it Facebook Marketplace? Is it OfferUp? Make sure you know where you're going to list these things first. But if you choose to have a donation, is it something you can easily drive to yourself? Are there only certain days? Will they do a pickup for you? So have that plan in place. But if you're looking for feel-good reasons to donate things, here are some items you probably have lying around, and here are the perfect reasons to let them go and where to donate them to. In your linen closet, if you have a lot of extra blankets, towels, sheet sets, consider donating them to pet hospitals. Pet hospitals and shelters are always in need of these things. Of course, if they're in perfect shape, donate it to your local resource center where they can give it to people in need. But if these are tattered, worn things, consider giving them to your animal shelters and hospitals, because boy, are these ever a much needed and helpful resource for them. Another item you just might have an abundance of, I know I have them, are crafting supplies. If you have a lot of these resources, consider giving them to your local schools. Nursing homes are a wonderful place to donate these things. But if not, consider Defy. This is for the Disabled Artist Foundation, and they box these items up and create kits and give them to the disabled who may otherwise not have the resources to get these. And if you've ever crafted before, you know how therapeutic and helpful this is. If you have a lot of cell phones and small electronics lying around, consider donating them to your local STEM department. That's for science, technology, engineering, and math. They encourage young minds to creatively disassemble these things and reapply them in new, innovative ways. So these are supplies they may not always be able to get their hands on, and they get to rebuild things and think outside of the box. So before you throw these away or donate them to your local recycling electronics center, consider finding a STEM program near you and seeing if they could use these items. Eyeglasses are another thing we seem to have lying around that collect because our prescription's gone bad. The lens frames are so expensive, we often think we'll get new lenses inside. If you find you have any of these lying around, consider donating them. Lens Crafters has a partnership with one site where they donate to people who have needs for them worldwide. Eyes of Hope is another that distributes to those in need. This is done globally. Respectable is a charitable organization that distributes eyeglasses to everyone in the US, and they do this for free. And of course, the Lions Club has Lions in Sight, where they also update glasses and distribute them around the world. So this is a great way to let go of these things, feel good about it, and declutter easily. If you find you have an abundance of beauty items, whether it's shampoos, conditioners, lotions, potions, makeup, consider donating to Project Beauty Share. I've spoken of this company many times because I think it's amazing what they do. They have found a way to repackage these things after sanitizing. I don't know how, but they do it. And they distribute these items to women in need, which is near and dear to my heart. You can also check in your local community for churches, youth programs, shelters, but letting these things go when it feels good just makes it so much easier. Step 3 is sorting and categorizing. We've all heard about those boxes of keep, donate, trash, sell. This really does make it helpful because sometimes you don't know what to do with an item. So by placing it in a box gives you the ability to at least make a quick decision, and then you can make a secondary decision afterwards. I always have a maybe box when I'm organizing because sometimes I don't realize that I have multiples of items until I've done this sorting process. And then I realize, okay, maybe I don't need 15 wood blanks to make a craft. Maybe I only need 10. So this really helps. So create those boxes that allow you to make conclusive decisions, and the maybe decisions will help for just in case. The other thing that's super important when you're sorting and categorizing is break down your time. Allow time for the planning, the sorting, then take a break. And I mean, don't go at it for 4 or 5 hours. Set a timer for 20, 30, 45 minutes to do each task, and then walk away and take a break. This keeps you from getting tired, especially if you have any of those aches and pains. Hunching over a box for a long time is absolutely going to knock you out and prevent you from continuing on the next day. So set a timer, set a short show, set some music, and stop periodically, frequently, so that you can get through a larger project without knocking yourself out. Number 4 is one of my favorites, and if you're a long viewer, you've heard me talk about this one a lot, and that is using the 5-gallon bucket rule. What does that mean? If you have a 5-gallon bucket, I don't care how creative you are, you can't add more than 5 gallons of water in it. When we have a space, creating that same type of rule of a limited quantity makes organizing so much easier, because otherwise you're trying to fit 100 mugs, you are, into one little cabinet. But if you make a rule that it's just me, or me and my husband, or me, my daughter, and so living in a house with you, you only need a set amount of mugs to use, even if it's a collection you love. By setting a number on that, that means when you get a new mug, you have to use the secondary rule, which is 1 in, 1 out. So set a limited area. In my craft area, I only have so much space, and while I do tend to overflow sometimes, I'll wheel it back when I do a later step, which is revisiting to make sure I'm staying within the means of what my allotted space is. So 5-gallon bucket rule. You can't have more than what the 5-gallon bucket can hold, so keep those items contained and restricted with a set number. Number 5 is probably the hardest one for most people when they're decluttering. How to let go. My number 1 tip here is ask yourself, would you buy this item today? So often we have those impulse buys where something looks great, it's on sale, or you've just watched a video of someone turning this item from the Dollar Tree into an amazing craft that you have to have. And then you realize it's been sitting on your shelf or on the drawer for the last 3 years. You've never done anything with it. If you walk into the store today, would you buy that item to do whatever you wanted to originally? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to let it go. You don't need it in your space. I know it was money spent, but it's not serving you or helping you to have it on a shelf, reminding you that it was something you didn't get done. My number 6 tip is organize for you. I've often said the best organizing system is the one that works for you. And no one does this better than Cass over at the Clutter Bug. Decide what a style is for you. Do you like your things out and visible? Do you like it color-coded? Do you like it contained and in things like I do? Find a system that's best for you. Visit her channel because she has a brilliant questionnaire that will help you decide what your best organizing style is, and then go with it. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with someone who looks to be disorganized, but when they need something, they know exactly where to go and they know where in the pile it is. That means that pile system worked for them. So forcing them to change that system into something that works for me is never going to benefit them. So if you've tried something before and it didn't work, know that maybe it just wasn't the best system for you, and it's okay to try something else, but definitely check out Cass's Clutter Bug and find out which type of organizing bug you are, and that might absolutely clear things up for you. Number 7 is one I alluded to before, and that is to maintain your system regularly. Once you get something organized, it's never one and done. You have to maintain this on a regular basis, whether that's quarterly, yearly, but your needs are always changing. The supplies you have are changing. Your routines are changing. So go ahead and revisit things, and you might be surprised that once a year when you go through something that you absolutely thought you needed last year, you haven't thought about or touched, and it'll be easier to revisit and let go of this next time. Or maybe your needs, you had to add more things, meaning that system you had needs to be reconfigured so that that larger quantity of items now has an easier to use home. So revisit your organization systems regularly and just consider it maintenance. The last tip I have is truly one of the ones I think is the most important, and that is celebrate. So often we beat ourselves up for I should have done this, I could have done this, time I wasted, look at all this money, all the people who came over going, oh my gosh, what's wrong with your space? Stop. Celebrate every little accomplishment that you have. I want you to take a before picture so that you can see and celebrate your achievements as you declutter. Whether it's completing a room or letting go of sentimental items, every step forward is a success. Pat yourself on the back. Ignore anybody who's negative around you, because I'll know how this is. So even if all you did was declutter a shelf, congratulations. Let me know in the comments and I will be your cheerleader and give you more suggestions on moving forward, because you've got this. This isn't a tip, but the last thing I want to say is remember that organizing is a personal journey. So set your own, whether it's mental or physical limitations. We all have our own struggles. So I want you to do what you can when you can. You might wake up tomorrow and think, oh, I'm so excited. I saw Noreen's video. I'm going to get this all done in one day. And if you can do that, that's fantastic. I like to take my time on things, reassess how I'm doing, which is why I always suggest taking breaks. But sometimes you might be totally motivated yesterday and today you just can't do it. That's okay. I want you to take me as you can do it. It's your own personal victories that you need to be proud of. And if it takes you a week, a month, or that's totally acceptable. Know that I will always be here rooting for you. Please allow me a quick 30 seconds to share a special deal that I have for you, my Crafty Organizer family. Audible Plus is a brand new all-you-can-listen-to membership where you can access thousands of titles, including a vast array of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals that span genres, lengths, and formats. And for you, my viewers, you can try this free, not for the normal 30 days, but for 90 days. That's 3 months. If you choose to continue, it's just $7.95 a month, and you can cancel anytime. You'll just have to use my code to get that 90 days free. I hope this video helped. I know decluttering is one of the hardest things to do, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a perfect area, I love it, but then something in my life changes, and before I know it, it's an area that I have to shut the door to. Last year when my dad was in the hospital, I ignored everything. My house was a mess, my yard was a mess, my craft space was a mess, and I'm slowly getting it all back into order, but it takes time. So know that you're not doing this alone, and that oftentimes, even if we lose control of it, we're going to take those little tiny steps to get it back. By the way, my dad is doing so much better. A lot of you have been asking in the comments. In January, he celebrated his 1 year from having the Whipple from pancreatic cancer, and he's looking great. We can't believe how well he's done, especially with all the complications he's had. So for those of you who have been asking, sending prayers, well wishes, I appreciate it so much. I hope this video helped you today, and I hope you know you're not alone on this journey. I really do love helping to give suggestions. If you're just stuck with something or you don't have space, feel free to ask in the comments, and feel free to join my Facebook page. The group of people that have been on there are amazing. They're supportive, they're understanding, and I really love reading the feedback that they give and the way that they support each other. So check that out. It's in my description below. And of course, thanks to my patrons. I know I have a few of you. I'll make sure to get your names in on the next slide starting in March. So be looking for your name there. And if you would like to support this channel, please check out the link in the description below. I will see you guys in the next few days with another video. Bye.